But you have to explain this even if your yogi can see everything.
Oh my
You need to
God.
explain that when your yogi is moving to understand the conditionality between the feelings and perceptions. You cannot just have the yogi observe intentions, perceptions, feelings, and consciousness. No, that's not the instruction. The instruction is that you lead them to see the dependency, the conditionality between the four aggregates. So the yogi trained themselves to see that intentions are dependent on perceptions, that perceptions are dependent on feelings, that feelings are dependent on consciousness. How are intentions dependent on perceptions? Perception of me leads us to continue in the object that we are now perceiving. Perception of not me leads us to not to continue in the object that we are now perceiving. So intention always goes either yes or no. And for example, you see a flower. Now that seeing is the consciousness. Now the flower, let's say, is pleasant. Now because the flower is pleasant, you will have the perception that this is good for me, that this is mine. This pleasant feeling is mine. And because it's yours, you want to continue with that. That's the intention. I want more. Now suppose that you see a dog poop on the street. So then that seeing is unpleasant. Now, because that's unpleasant, you notice that's not mine. It's not related to me. It has nothing to do with me. What? It's not my poop and I didn't do it and it's not related to me. So what am I going to do with that? Okay. Not related to you. That means you do not continue in looking at that duck poop. You're continuing in something else. So when we see something pleasant, it leads us to the idea that it's mine or that it's me. And based on that, we decide to continue in it or to get it. If it is unpleasant feeling, we decide that this is not good for me. And therefore, we perceive that this is not mine, that it's not me. And therefore, we decide that we will not continue in getting it. We will not continue in concentrating on that. We will somehow do it so that we get rid of that, either moving to a different object or removing this object. So then the intention governs what will be the object next. Will the next object be the same object as now or a different one? When you observe these four aggregates, there are four leaders that decide what will be those objects as you observe, as these four aggregates arise and pass. These four leaders are Chanda, Virya, Chitta, Vimamsa. Chanda means desire. So, for example, you come to a room and you really want to sit down. You're so tired. Then, because of this chanda, because of this desire to sit down, you don't see anything else than chair. You don't care about what's the other what's going on other place. You see only chair, and as you see the chair, you're fully focused and concentrated on the chair all the way until you sit on it.
Mhm.
Or let's say you're thirsty. Wherever you go, you're searching only for water because you want to see only water and you want to drink it. So that chanda, this desire, makes it possible for you to have only the object of water whenever it is available. So you don't see any other. So if you see some other object, then that's not a pleasant object because it's not the water. And because it's not pleasant, it's not yours. And therefore you don't concentrate on that. But if you see an object with water, when you want water, then that's pleasant because that's yours. That's what you need. And then there comes the intention that you will continue in that object. You continue going towards that water. You continue opening up that bottle. You continue by drinking it. There are so many moments of mind going on, but most of them or all of them have this one particular object, and that is what? Water. Okay, now suppose that the leader is not chanda, but it is virya, it's effort. In chanda, it's more related to the outside. In virya, the leader called virya is relating all the things inside. So in Virya, instead of being concerned about something outside, you're concerned about something inside. For example, you have your ship, the boat that you go on, crashes. And as it crashes, you're on the water, and now you need to save yourself. You need to swim. Whether you know to swim or not, you do your best. You continue and continue and continue and continue and continue. And it is this virya, is this effort that makes it possible that you continue and continue and continue and continue. All right. Or let's say you need to prepare for an exam. Okay. So your virya is making it possible that you continue to memorize, continue and continue and continue and continue. And you don't care about anything else. Okay. Now let's move on. Like these two were rather I like to call them the tunnel vision, the concentration. Now we have two more, which are rather explorative. So the third one is chitta, thinking. So when thinking is the leader of your mind, it will decide that you consider. You consider, is this suitable? Is this not suitable? How am I going to do that? This one is rather internal. So you're internally considering what is the right way? How could I do it better? Or what is the different way? And so on. So you're thinking, what would be better? What would be worse? And so on. So you're not really considering the objects outside, but you're considering those things that you remember, considering the things that you know, consider the things that helped you, and so on. That's 3. Number 4, vimangsa. Vimangsa is investigation. In investigation, you, for example, you don't know what to do. You just want to explore the room where you came. Let's say you come to a monastery, you've never been there, and you just want to know how does it actually look like. You come to a room and you're looking, oh, here's a library, oh, here's a table, here's a chair, here's a carpet, here's a monk, here's a layperson, here's the light on the ceiling, here's a Buddha statue, here's a flower, and so on. You're investigating all what's around. You see, this is the opposite to the chanda, the first one, where you had the desire to be with that one object. Now, in vimangsa, it's the opposite. You do not have any particular desire. You want to learn. So you are investigating all what are the things that you see, all what are the things that you hear, and so on. Until today, there's this big question in psychology. Why do we actually perceive that what we perceive and not something else? For example, if I look like here, there are so many things that I can see. I can see my picture. I can see that there are pictures of others. I can see that there are many buttons, on in the application. I can see that there is a laptop. There is a toilet paper on which I have my monitor standing. I have the mouse here. I have a microphone over here, which you cannot see. I have some hard disk things, an iPad, and so on. And all of these things are somewhat, included in the visual field, in that what I can conceive of, or that I can see on, without looking left or right. Why do I see just one thing? Why do I concentrate on one thing, just my face? I'm looking at my face to make sure that I am saying that what I'm saying, to make sure that I'm not making some weird grimaces. And sometimes I'm looking at you to see what is your reaction, to see whether you disagree or whether you're angry or whether you're laughing, and so on. And based on that, I then adjust my speech. So it is interesting. Why do we select this particular thing and not something else? Why am I not interested in the toilet paper, or in the monitor, in the external screen, or in the iPad? Why don't I just see it? I don't even see it, unless, of course, I apply the leader called investigation, the 4th one, vimangsa. So perception is very interesting. Why does the perception lead us to perceive that what we perceive? And the reason why we perceive the things that we perceive is based on not only the leaders, but also on the feelings. If I feel something pleasant, well, then I will be attracted to that. Oh, this is pleasant. I need to continue in this object because this is good for me. So then I am concentrated on that because this is nice for me. Maybe if your husband plays a lot of computer games, you can notice how he's so concentrated on the game and he doesn't care about anything else. Well, it's the same thing about you as well if you ever play games, because it is pleasant. Now, if it is unpleasant, well, then either you want to concentrate on something pleasant, so you go somewhere else, or you want to remove this unpleasant thing. Whatever way you do it, it is intention. You need to intend to get rid of it. How is this anything actually possible? It is possible because of this idea of I, me. Now, if something was pleasant, for example, for Tutam or for Letui, I cannot do anything about that because it's not pleasant for me, or I don't even know it. In order that I know that something is pleasant for me, well, then I will have to see it. I will have to feel it myself. And this myself, this me, this mine is of utmost importance for anything and everything we do in our life. You don't try to remove that because it's not possible to remove that. Until you live, you will have perceptions. And those perceptions will most importantly be me, mine, or not me, not mine, so that you then make the necessary intention. It's me who's hungry, therefore I will now go to cook. It's not Tutam who's hungry, so I will now cook. And it's not Tutam's mouth, so I will now put the food into Tutam's mouth. It's my mouth, so I'll put it into my mouth. You see, I need to distinguish mine and others. Otherwise, the life would be ridiculous. You would die so fast. Even the Buddha had perceptions of me, mine, and self, but only on the conceptual, on the practical level in this world. You cannot lead your yogis to see no self in all cases. It just doesn't work, and they will never be able to do that. And if they will die very soon. So no, the idea that the student should see not self is not okay. When you observe these four aggregates of the mind, you're most importantly concentrated on the reason. Why do you see things as you and not you? You're seeing them as you because they're pleasant. You see them as not you because they're not pleasant. And only this has the power to allow you to have an intention. If it is not you, if it is not related to you in any way, well, then you will not do anything about that. What do you about me? What do you do about me feeling unpleasant or pleasant? You do nothing because you don't know it. Okay. But you do a lot about yours. So, Tengchuk, if she heard her yogi saying that the yogi doesn't see that it's self and that she cannot see self, then she needs to ask her, how does the yogi stand up if the yogi doesn't see that it's the yogi who's sitting? How does the yogi actually sit down if the yogi doesn't know that it's her who is standing? And that's what I would ask her.